All right, thanks everybody for joining me today to talk about the Leash Reactivity Blueprint. So we're going to talk about what is a reactive dog. Reactive dogs are dogs who bark and lunge or react aggressively on their leash at the sight of other dogs or people. So some of these dogs could be fine interacting off leash, and some of these dogs may not go off leash at all. And reactivity, though, is usually a more common term when we have dogs whose behavior is only really concerning on their leash. So that's really what we're referring to when we talk about reactivity maybe versus aggression. So what causes reactive dogs? Why is this happening to so many people? Well, in my opinion, the biggest reason is the stress of restraint. When you greet other dogs on leash, things usually go poorly. And so this is where a lot of reactivity can come with, especially in dogs that are actually good with other dogs or are not reactive, and then they actually can become reactive. This is how we see the genesis of the behavior actually happening. So if you have a dog who does not want to greet another dog and they are forced into it, that can create a fearful response. And so I like this image in the slide because you have both of these things happening. We have a Chihuahua who clearly does not want to be there, and he is being sniffed by a dog who is pulling strongly forward, and he cannot escape. So he has no way out of that situation. And the second problem we have is if you allow a dog to always greet and forge ahead and get to greet other dogs, and then you decide to stop that, then that dog is going to be frustrated. So now we're ready for the main event. So the dogs are going to see each other for the first time in class. So if their handlers have been working on their foundation work, getting their timing down, they should have some confidence now, and they are ready to start seeing each other for the first time and being ready with that quick timing when they see other dogs. So we are going to start with Berlin and V seeing each other for the first time. We've got a wide distance, and the other thing that's very important is that the handlers have an escape route. This is the time where your dogs may end up being reactive for the first time because you really have a very difficult exercise. So the handlers need to know that they have somewhere to go to get out of the line of sight should the dogs go off. So both our handlers know where they're going should their dogs explode. They'll try management techniques, and we're going to do our best job to guide them, okay? So V, we're ready for you to come out, and Jen, you're ready to click as soon as Berlin sees her. So just stay right where you are and try to click and treat those looks. That's a nice level 2 Berlin just did. You kind of quickly missed it. She looked up. Great job, guys. Berlin's got a nice wagging tail. We like to see that. V's tail's not wagging, but it doesn't seem to do that much, so that doesn't really concern us. Again, we're looking for pre-reactivity triggers. Is there anything in this dog's body language that makes us think that they are going to be reactive? Because we want to make sure we get right on that with a reward before it happens and that we're ready. So we don't want reactivity to catch us by surprise. Okay, so we're going to start our 90-degree walking. Remember those leash rules. Make sure you're not giving your dog their full length of leash. Make sure it's as loose as possible. When you start your walking and all of your movements, make sure you stay in a straight line. Don't let your dog try to pull you off to the side. And if I tell you to walk away, that doesn't mean it's an emergency turn. It means to just try to calmly turn and encourage your dog to walk away with you, not like we want to try to make a big production out of it, because oftentimes that may cause them to react if you tug on their leash. So you ultimately want to try to do your turn with a loose leash. So encourage your dog to walk with you. Try not to just pull them if we have to turn away. So I'm going to tell you to walk forward and walk away and walk forward and walk away, and we'll see how close we can get you. Okay, you guys ready? So start walking forward. And be aware that your dogs are going to notice one another once they get past the blind spots. And if they do a nice level 2 or a level 1, Portia glanced over. So our dogs are walking parallel with each other right now at a far distance. So you can just walk them up and down this strip. If your dog does react, move quickly in whatever direction gets you away from the dog. So try to still stay on your strip if your dog is reactive, but very quickly move away from the dog. So at this point, if you guys want to mix in some fun operant stuff, you can. So if you want to mix in a sit, if you want to ask for a hand target, if your dog knows how to shake a paw, so if you want to take a couple of stops and just do something, or even if you want to take a stop and just ask for a down, just so it's not monotonous walking the whole time. Again, just be aware of where your dog is looking. Don't let them fixate on the other dog. Remember your 3-second rule. And what I'm going to get you to try, Steph, is to now come onto this strip. So I hope you've enjoyed this DVD, and I hope this has given you a lot of information on how to work with your reactive dog, either by yourself or if you're a trainer, on how to teach a group class. I recommend that people stay in touch with one another so you can practice these exercises. Reactive dogs need a lot of work in practicing with dogs in a controlled environment so you can make sure your dog doesn't become reactive. When you're on a walk by yourself, you have to make sure that you're ready with your management techniques. Dogs can come out from anywhere, so you have to be ready to train at a moment's notice. So I hope that this has been helpful, and let's all have a great dog walk.